Welcome. Today we are looking at pollution. This is topic 4 in your SS2 biology series. This topic appears regularly in both objectives and essay questions in your examinations. Pay close attention. Let us begin. First, let me explain what pollution is. Pollution is the introduction of harmful substances into the environment. These harmful substances are called pollutants. Pollutants can be solid, liquid, or gaseous. They can be natural or man-made. Pollution occurs when the environment cannot absorb or break down these substances. Pollution can affect the air, water, and land. It can harm living organisms. It can damage ecosystems. It can affect human health. Pollution is a major environmental problem caused by human activities like industrialization, urbanization, and agriculture. Understanding pollution is essential for protecting the environment and human health. Now, let me explain the types of pollution. There are 6 main types. Air pollution is the contamination of the atmosphere by harmful gases and particles. Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies like rivers, lakes, and oceans. Land pollution is the contamination of the soil. Noise pollution is the presence of excessive or disturbing noise from traffic, industry, and construction. Thermal pollution is the increase in temperature of water bodies from industrial processes. Radioactive pollution is the contamination of the environment with radioactive materials from nuclear accidents and waste. Each type has different causes, effects, and control measures. Now let me explain air pollution in detail. The major air pollutants include carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, ozone, particulate matter, and volatile organic compounds. Carbon monoxide is a colourless, odourless gas produced by incomplete combustion of fossil fuels. It reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of blood. Sulfur dioxide is produced by burning coal and oil and contributes to acid rain. Nitrogen oxides contribute to smog and acid rain. Ozone is formed by reaction of nitrogen oxides and volatile organic compounds in sunlight. Particulate matter includes dust, soot, and smoke that cause respiratory problems. Volatile organic compounds are released from paints, solvents, and fuels. Air pollution causes respiratory and cardiovascular diseases, cancer, and damages crops and forests. It contributes to acid rain, which damages buildings and harms aquatic life. It also contributes to climate change through greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Climate change causes rising temperatures, sea level rise, and extreme weather events. Now, let me explain water pollution in detail. The major water pollutants include sewage, industrial waste, agricultural runoff, oil spills, and plastic waste. Sewage contains organic matter, pathogens, and nutrients that deplete oxygen and spread diseases like cholera and typhoid. Industrial waste contains toxic chemicals and heavy metals, harmful to aquatic life and human health. Agricultural runoff contains fertilizers and pesticides that cause eutrophication. Eutrophication is excessive growth of algae that depletes oxygen in water, killing fish and other organisms. Oil spills from tankers coat aquatic organisms and harm marine ecosystems. Plastic waste is ingested by animals and entangles them, causing injury and death. Water pollution harms aquatic life, contaminates drinking water, spreads diseases, affects food security, and harms human health. Now let me explain land pollution in detail. Major land pollutants include solid waste, hazardous waste, and agricultural chemicals. Solid waste from homes and businesses includes garbage, plastics, and metals that accumulate in landfills and contaminate soil. Hazardous waste like chemicals, batteries, and electronic waste contaminates soil and groundwater. Agricultural chemicals like fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides contaminate soil and harm beneficial organisms like earthworms. Land pollution reduces soil fertility, contaminates groundwater, harms plant growth, and harms human health through contaminated food and water. Now let me explain noise pollution. Noise pollution is caused by traffic, industry, and construction. Prolonged exposure to noise above 85 decibels causes hearing loss, stress, sleep disturbance, and affects concentration and communication. It is a problem in urban areas. Children are particularly affected with impacts on learning and development. Noise pollution can be controlled by reducing noise at the source, using noise barriers, enforcing regulations, and proper urban planning. Now, let me explain thermal pollution. Thermal pollution is caused by release of heated water from power plants and industrial processes. It reduces oxygen content of water because warm water holds less oxygen. It harms aquatic life, affects fish reproduction, and changes species distribution. Thermal pollution can be controlled using cooling towers, cooling ponds, or reducing temperature of discharged water before release. Now, let me explain radioactive pollution. Radioactive pollution is caused by nuclear accidents and nuclear waste. Radioactive materials emit radiation that causes mutations, cancer, and death. It harms human health, wildlife, and contaminates the environment for thousands of years. Radioactive pollution can be controlled by proper nuclear waste management, preventing nuclear accidents and decontamination of affected areas. International cooperation is needed to address this serious threat. Now, let me explain the causes of pollution. Major causes include industrialization, urbanization, agriculture, transportation, and waste disposal. Industries release pollutants into air, water, and land through smokestacks, waste discharge, and disposal. Cities generate large amounts of waste and air pollution from vehicles. Agriculture uses fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides that pollute soil and water. Vehicles release carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter into the air. Improper waste disposal contaminates land and water. These causes are interconnected and contribute to environmental degradation. Now let me explain the effects of pollution. Pollution affects human health, causing respiratory diseases, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, neurological disorders, skin diseases, and reproductive problems. Millions die each year from pollution-related illnesses. Children and the elderly are most vulnerable. Pollution harms ecosystems by reducing biodiversity, disrupting food chains, and destroying habitats. Some species become extinct. Pollution damages the economy by reducing agricultural productivity, damaging buildings, increasing healthcare costs, and reducing tourism. Pollution contributes to climate change, causing rising temperatures, sea level rise, and extreme weather events. Pollution contaminates water resources, reducing availability of clean water and affecting food security. Now, let me explain the control of pollution. Pollution can be controlled through legislation, technology, waste management, education, and conservation. Governments can pass laws to limit pollution, set emission standards, impose fines, and establish environmental protection agencies. Industries can use cleaner technologies like scrubbers, filters, and catalytic converters to remove pollutants. They can treat wastewater before discharge. We can reduce, reuse, and recycle waste, compost organic waste, treat wastewater, and properly dispose hazardous waste. Education helps people understand pollution and adopt sustainable practices. Conservation involves reducing consumption, using renewable energy like solar and wind power, and planting trees. These measures require cooperation of governments, industries, and individuals. Now, let me explain sustainable development. Sustainable development meets present needs without compromising future generations. It balances economic growth, social development, and environmental protection. It requires using resources wisely, reducing environmental impact, adopting clean technologies, and conserving biodiversity. Everyone must work together to achieve sustainable development. Now let me give sample exam questions. Define pollution. Pollution is the introduction of harmful substances into the environment that can affect air, water, and land and harm living organisms. List types of pollution. They include air, water, land, noise, thermal, and radioactive pollution. Explain causes of air pollution. Air pollution is caused by burning fossil fuels, industrial processes, transportation and agriculture releasing carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter. Explain effects of water pollution. Water pollution harms aquatic life, contaminates drinking water, spreads diseases, and affects food security through sewage, industrial waste, agricultural runoff, oil spills, and plastic waste. Explain control of pollution. Pollution is controlled through legislation, technology, waste management, education, and conservation, requiring cooperation of governments, industries, and individuals. Let me summarise. Pollution is introduction of harmful substances into the environment. Types include air, water, land, noise, thermal, and radioactive. Causes include industrialisation, urbanisation, agriculture, transportation, and waste disposal. Effects impact human health, ecosystems, economy, climate, and water resources. Control measures include legislation, technology, waste management, education, and conservation. Sustainable development is essential. Practice these concepts. When you have them down, move to topic 5.